Yes, yes, we're ready in week three of the NFL spreads. Some interesting results from last week. I picked four of the games, unfortunately, one of my worst outings of all time. Mike, congratulations. You're over 50%. You got 9 of 16. A good job.
Thank you. What an honor.
Yeah.
Obviously, shooting for closer to 60% would be excellent. So, but over a gentleman's 50% is still respectable. So, decent start for me, but room for improvement for sure.
Yeah, yeah, some big lines last week, and making hay on some of those underdogs nicely there. So good job. And we'll just briefly discuss the Thursday game because that's happened last night.
It was a
So the,
thing. It was a thing that happened.
yes, it was. I have to say I didn't watch much. 6 point line. I took the Jets as favourites. You took the Pats. So thankfully I got one back this week. Just a real scrap, really. A dire affair. New
Yeah.
England not getting much going at all offensively.
No, and I've only watched the condensed 40-minute highlights of this, so by no means an expert on this game, but you can just see that in the box score that only 139 yards of offense for the Patriots, dominant display by the Jets defense. Aaron Rodgers looked quite mobile as well, which I thought was interesting,
Mm.
getting out of the pocket. You can see his Achilles injury definitely occurred before Kirk Cousins is. He looks a lot more mobile than Kirk Cousins does,
Mm.
despite being a few years older. So maybe he's just rounding into some form now that he's got his feet back under him. If that's the case, the Jets are dangerous in that AFC East, especially with the Dolphins' injuries. I could see the Jets coming through with a winning record out of that division now, which is probably a change from what you'd have expected pre-season.
Yeah, and even week one. I mean, it's a real pendulum swing for both these teams. The Jets getting handled by the Niners week one, and the Pats with that surprising win week one. But as always with the NFL, you never quite know what's happening until it
No,
happens. And just total reversal of fortunes here for both of these programs.
yeah, you have to think Robert Kraft won't be
Um,
won't be
oh,
patient seeing his new franchise quarterback stay on the bench much longer than I said to you Halloween earlier. I think Drake May will be playing for the Patriots. It's my guess.
I think so. Absolutely. I'm sure that's where the over under would be set. So I'd actually take the under on Halloween. We'll see how that goes. Um, and yeah, all right. Let's get into the week three games then here. We'll start off in the hometown here. The Giants coming to town.
Yeah. Do you want me to
Should
take this
I
one? I
uh,
think
should I
I think
take
it's
it?
I think it's your honor, Thomas.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, I've got a pretty strong opinion on this one actually. To start, it's going to be a Giants cover here for me. I can't see the spread on the screen now actually, but I believe it's a six
Yeah,
point spread.
I can't see it either.
Just
Now,
get
where
this
have
up.
they? Interesting. Oh, they've moved this around on the Athletic.
Yeah, we've
They've
got
moved it
a.
around on me. So they've got it at six and a half.
Yeah, that's what I had on over here as well. 6.5. Mike, this is a comfy Giants cover for me here. Watching the Browns a lot the last few years, the Browns never win games by more than a field goal or so. And actually, the Browns have a better record as underdogs than they do as favorites. So I'm quite happy to take the woeful Giants here. I think Daniel Jones will just take what's given to him and just dink and dunk him here. The Browns are quite good at not giving up the big plays, but the Giants don't really do that anyway. So I think it's a very tight game here with Watson maybe making enough plays in his semi-resurrection. Obviously, they got the win last week for the Browns to win, but yeah, I certainly don't see this being more than a touchdown route here for the Browns. I think this is a little wrong here from the bookies.
Yeah, and I think it's a slight overcorrection on the Giants. I mean, we know they're not a very good football team, but there's not many teams in NFL history that go 0 and 16 and lose every game handily. The Giants have to win, statistically, will win a couple of games this season. And this could be one of them. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I agree with you. I'm taking the Browns here, and I'm also taking that under on the points. It's tantalizing for me as well. 39 and a half. That could be that's actually one to put your money on potentially.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. quite a few low over under points totals so far this year as well. It's quite interesting to see.
Yeah. Well, I think defenses have really come to the fore across the
Yeah,
first couple of weeks. Statistically, the number of touchdowns being scored is down by about 50%, I think, week on week. So
that doesn't surprise me actually.
yeah, so
Interesting.
I think defenses have started to adjust to some of this offensive innovation that we've seen over the last few years, which is for me as a football fan, I think is only good because we've got all
Oh
this
yeah,
we've got nonsense people starting from the 30 and scoring
yeah.
40 points a game. I mean, this isn't basketball. I don't necessarily want to see that. So good to see the defense is rallying here across the NFL. On that cheerful note, we'll go, we'll go to
Tell us how you really feel then, Mike.
we'll go to a. I think there's a slight delay on this because there was a huge gap there. Either that or you just weren't in agreement with me.
There's a delay. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. We've got Chargers at Steelers. My honor here. I'm going to
Oh,
go. I think. Oh, okay. So Pittsburgh are a 1.5 point favorite at home.
probably
Um,
just by the fact of being the home team. That's all that is.
That's all that is. I agree. I think two football teams that want to play the same brand of football, um,
Mm.
with a couple of differences though. For me, this week in that Herbert he missed at least one day's practice. I don't know if he was in practice today or not. I haven't checked, but he definitely missed Wednesday's practice. And
Mm.
it's in Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh's defense is playing really well. They haven't got their sort of normal bevy of injuries on defense yet. So I'm going to take the Steelers to win at home here. Tough road outing for the Chargers. Come all the way across country as well.
Yeah. Ooh. Ooh.
He wants to go Chargers here. He wants to claw back some points on me.
I think so. I think I'm just gonna be the contrarian picker and take the Chargers. They've shown they can play winning football so far. I think the Steelers, as usual, probably finish above 500, but I don't think they're a 3-0 team. I think the Chargers just have a bit more moxie about them, actually. It was quite interesting. I was watching a QB coverage on Bryce Young, and they were saying the Chargers played a lot of one defense in week one, but then totally switched it around in them week two, which is quite interesting. They've just got something about them, I think, this year, the Chargers under Harbaugh. Running the football, Herbert's playing well. So I'll take the Chargers to go in there and win this game. I believe they stayed on the East Coast as well. Harbaugh keeping everyone there. They're not faffing around with travel, which is quite fun. So go on. I'll just take the Chargers.
Okay, interesting. I'll give you the right to change that if Herbert is not healthy to play.
Yeah.
We'll allow that. Denver heading to Tampa. Wow, tough for the young quarterback. This. What do you think?
Yeah, my Denver Broncos season wins is really in jeopardy because he just keeps coming up against these defenses. This is going to be another one where Todd Bowles is just going to throw stuff at the boy Nix that he hasn't seen. It's under a touchdown. Oh, I've got to back the Broncos once more before I get off the hype train. So I'm just going to take the points here because I like the 6.5 points. Last week showed us that we should really be taking anything over 3 points as an underdog in the NFL. So I'm just going to go on that logic and think the Bucks keep this close and maybe surprise some people. I mean, obviously the numbers don't look good there, but yeah, against my better judgment, I'm going to take the Broncos. And yeah, I've just got to stick with what I thought about them this year, that they'd be a over 500 football team.
Okay. I'm going to go with your better judgment and say the Buccaneers win by 10 here. I just think they'll throw a lot of blitzes under Todd Bowles. They'll throw a lot of blitzes, which is a lot for a. We saw how Jalen Hurts couldn't deal with that last season, and he's a much more established starting quarterback in this league than Bo Nix is. I think Sean Payton will have some blitz answers for Bo Nix in this game plan, but I just don't know if he's going to be able to find them under the scrutiny and then the Buccaneers offense, Baker Mayfield is playing absolutely out of his mind at the moment. The Broncos
Oh yeah,
defense is better than I expected, but I'm really pleased to see Baker sort of returning to that early Cleveland Browns form that he showed. The likes of him and Sam Darnold and Geno Smith maybe showing some of these franchises gave up on their young star quarterbacks too early. You'd hope the
yeah,
Broncos don't do the same with Knicks. You've got to give these guys time to develop. So all that being said, I'm going to take the Bucks here at home to cover 6.5.
yeah. That's the smart move for sure. Yeah, he's rejuvenated there. You see, he's enjoying himself. It's good to see
Yeah, it's
actually.
great to see. Playing some real personality, which is nice as well. Not just a robot. He's living large there in Tampa, which is fun. Okay. Oh, this is a fun game, actually. I'm actually surprised to hear myself say that, but I
Oh,
I think this is quite fun because Malik Willis last week was a really surprising performance for the Packers.
it
Sorry,
was,
I'll
yeah.
find the
He's
line here. It was actually a
gonna come
really
back.
yeah. Um, you have to give LaFleur credit. He's
Yeah,
called plays for three very different quarterbacks now and had success with all three of them. So even though I whinge about the Shanahan and McVay nepotism tree there, you've got to say he's earned his stripes at this point, LaFleur. And I think it's
yeah,
a fun offense to watch with Malik Willis in it. And they're going against a slightly rejuvenated Will Levis. I know he still made a back-breaking mistake last week to kill them, but I thought it was an improved overall performance than again week one against the Bears. So I think this could be an interesting watch. In terms of the result, Tennessee 2.5 point favorites. I'm afraid I can't abide that.
yeah.
I think the Packers are a much better football team in almost every position other than defensive tackle. So I'm quite happy to take the Pack here.
Yeah, I have to say I'm going to agree with that. Never quite like the Titans as a favorite in any game historically. So I'm going to back the Packers here, as you said, just a better team in the Malik Willis testimonial.
Yeah, exactly. Against his former team. I didn't even mention that. Correct. All right. Well, a real Midwestern slobber knocker here as the Chicago Bears head to the Indianapolis Colts. Uh,
Just a couple hours drive for
yeah,
the Bears. Um, oof,
can hardly
yeah.
even call it a road game. Goodness.
Lots of pick. Backing up what you said earlier about the defenses just dominating. I mean, some of these young quarterbacks are just launching picks this season so far. Indy minus 1.5. Yeah, I think Indy they've got to get on the board here, get a win. I don't see them as an 0-3 football team. I definitely think they're better put together than that, and I think Richardson makes enough plays here. I know you weren't very impressed with the Bears offense from when we were texting the other night. And if they continue to play like that, I just think this is a bit of a bit of a quagmire sort of game that the Colts just rush the ball better and get the job done here. Like a 1 or 2 point win here for them.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with that actually. The Colts, the Bears, obviously they've struggled with Caleb Williams at the helm. Their defense has played well, so I don't think it's going to be a clean game for Anthony Richardson either. I think it'll be a low scoring game. But the biggest thing to concern me here for the Bears is just this statistic here. Caleb Williams being your leading rusher
That's it.
through two games is dismal. And you just can't have it, and it's just not going to help him. I think we've already seen this year Caleb Williams isn't going to have like a CJ Stroud type season where he's just flinging it all over the yard. But to be fair, the Texans ran it a huge amount last year. They ran it one of the highest run percentage teams in the NFL to support their young quarterback. And the Bears, I just don't feel like they've attempted that yet. So Bears need to get this run game going, but I don't see them doing it this week. I'm going to take the Colts as well.
Yeah, it's just a very modern Bears thing to have the number one pick and do all this managerial and back office stuff correctly, but then botch it when it comes to the game. So, yeah, I do think we see that them go 1 and 2 here, and the Colts get on the board.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Well, speaking of botching it, the Philadelphia Eagles We're a 3rd and 3 dropped pass conversion away from putting the Atlanta Falcons to bed last week. Their new running back and star sensation, Saquon Barkley, dropping the pass and costing them the game ultimately. Although you could argue the defense has been worse. The defense has been really under par so far for the Eagles. Uncle Vic Fangio not really getting it going back in his home state. So slight overcorrection though for me from the bookmakers here, making New Orleans a 3-point favorite. I just don't. Pre-season, that just would have been absolutely laughable. And you look at these two depth charts side by side. The one thing I don't know if AJ Brown is going to be healthy for this game. I don't know if you can double check that for me quickly, Sol, because my internet is being a bit hit and miss here.
I've also got -2.5 on the spread.
Okay, well we'll take that because it's a half a point rather, so we don't get the possibility of a wash. Yeah, so should we take the 2.5?
Yeah, go on.
As our line.
Is AJ Brown still DNP? Not 100%.
He's not practicing.
No.
Okay, I don't care. Even without AJ Brown playing, which if he's not practicing today, then he's not playing. Regardless, I still think the Eagles are a much better football team than the Saints overall. And the Saints, have all credit to them. They have played outstanding football. They absolutely dismantled the Dallas Cowboys in one of the most satisfying road performances I think I've ever seen since I've been watching the NFL. I just feel like this might be the week where they come back to earth a little bit and lose. No shame in losing to this Eagles team, who should be a NFC playoff contender. So yeah, I'm going to say the Eagles for that.
Nice. I'm going to go with the form team in the NFL. They're going to take the Saints to win this thing by a field goal, maybe more. Just the points per game they've been putting up has been crazy, and I still see a lot of struggles here with this Eagles secondary. If the Saints start getting some free runners, Alvin Kamara seems to be having a resurgence as well. Slightly worried if he starts getting to the second level there of the Philly defense. Kubiak Jr. doing a lovely job here with Derek Carr, as that article says. I'm just going to take the form team, and probably when I've seen teams get hot like this at the start of the year, they can usually keep that going for 4 or 5 games. So I can feasibly see this being a bit of a run here for the Saints early on. I just don't think at home this is a very innocuous 1 o'clock kick. I don't think this is where they come down to earth. I think they keep it going.
Fair enough. I mean, they can't keep that going. They can't keep 45.5 points per game going. So
I don't know. In the Superdome, you never know.
We'll see. There will be some regression at some point. I'm just hoping it's this week so that my birds can get back to winning ways. But alas, we'll have to wait and see. So next one I'm trying to load up here is Houston Texans.
Yeah,
on the road.
Sneaky game of the week.
I don't think it's sneaky. This is the outstanding game of the week to me. I think this is. I'm going to be away this week. I'm really sad I'm not seeing this one live. Houston, the 2-point favorites, we should say. And it's your honor.
The unbeatens, battle of the unbeatens here. I made the mistake last week. I was bemoaning the fact that I didn't take the Vikings against my better judgment. So I have to back them this week. It's just very tough to bet against the Vikings at home. And they've been made underdogs at home. This is just all the signals of a typical Vikings victory that we've seen in the past few years. Just excellent coaching, and particularly on the defensive side, that just gets them through these tight games at home. So I think they're definitely going to cover and most likely win this game here. Just doing just enough here to beat the Texans.
Yeah, this is tough. Just because of the amount of respect that I have for the Houston Texans, and I think they're going to be the outstanding challenger in my view to the Chiefs this year in the AFC. But this is a really tough outing, and a Vikings team that will stop the run first, which actually I think a lot of people think of the Texans as a passing team because of CJ Stroud's success, but they actually run it almost as much as they pass it. And I think the Vikings are sort of built to stop the run under Brian Flores as defensive coordinator. So I think the Vikings will take this at home. Home dog is pretty insulting for the Vikings. Justin Jefferson is going to be a healthy to play. Yeah, I think you've got to
Yeah,
go with the Vikings here. The omens are for a Vikings win, even though I don't feel great about it given my respect for the Texans. But anyway, that's
yeah.
what I'm with. All right. Oh dear.
Oh,
Wow. Next one up probably
another
doesn't
red rifle traveling to Vegas.
doesn't merit a huge amount of chat. Andy Dalton back on the scene. The Red Raider is back. Uh, and as you know, I haven't seen the line yet, so let me not get carried away. Oh, Las Vegas -5. Goodness. I mean, I think the Raiders are going to win this football game. I was very impressed by their performance on the road. The Ravens.
Yeah,
I did think they had it in them last week to make that a close game, and they proved me right.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. I think
um,
that was a good one.
um, oh goodness, I think Dalton is going to make them more solid at the center, right?
Yeah,
But the defense is abysmal. The amount of defensive personnel turnover they had to have in order to be able to go and sign those pieces to try and make Bryce Young functional has really impacted their performance on the defensive side of the football. Raiders at home in what is actually surprisingly quite a raucous atmosphere in Las Vegas. They get very good home support there.
yeah,
Uh, I'm going to take the Raiders. I don't feel good about it because this could be like a surprisingly good Panthers performance with Dalton coming in off the canvas to
yeah.
have a late career rally. I can definitely see that, but I'm just going to go with the Raiders and just hope for the best.
Yeah, I was thinking that. I was thinking the change in QB just rejuvenates them slightly. The Raiders, after a huge win last week, maybe go into this a little complacent. I have to say, I'm not too impressed with the coaching in the Raiders, as I never really have been throughout their history. But I can just see them not getting up for this at all. Maybe a sneaky Panthers win here, actually, against all odds. But I'm quite happy taking the 5 points here to cover Carolina. I just think this is one that's a bit of an overreaction to what's happened.
I think that's a really good point you just made about the coaching and about the being lulled to sleep a little bit. The Raiders. It's one of the things I'm scared about too, because I don't know. You just look at that coaching staff and you think who's grabbing the players and warning them against an upset, or are they just smoking cigars and like dicking around at practice in this sort of player first? I know I sound like an old crotchety, miserable old man. It doesn't seem right to me from the outside, really, that any of that coaching fit there. But we'll see. Maybe
Yeah.
Antonio will prove me wrong.
Yep.
Um, oh, well, this would have been
Oh,
great.
hello.
This would have
Yeah.
been this would have been great if Tua was healthy, but alas,
Yeah. Who's their backup? Do you know?
4.5 for no. I actually don't know who is playing in this, so they're not. I don't think that I saw they signed someone. It's not going to be Sky Moore though. I don't think. I think they're going to go with the guy they just signed. Didn't they just sign
Oh, Skylar Thompson.
Sky Thompson? Sorry, I thought they signed a new quarterback this week though. Oh shit! I should have researched this before we came in.
It looks like it's going to be Skylar Thompson
It
playing.
is going to be Skylar Thompson. Okay. Well, the Seahawks are only a 5 point favorite, Tom. So what do you think? What do you
Hmm.
think? Oh no, 4.5 in fact. So even better.
Seahawks here. This is Seahawks all day for me. A huge cross country trip here for the Dolphins. This is a
Yeah.
nightmare. The Dolphins going all the way up there. And a raucous atmosphere. I don't think they can get it going like they want to. I'm sure they're still going to make some plays, but the Seahawks just reminding us of all the threats and how well rounded they are as a football team last week with a couple of huge plays from DK Metcalf coming out of nowhere. And I just think the Seahawks can beat you pretty much any way they want. They're a really well put together team, and just too much for the lily white Dolphins, as we say. Seahawks.
uh, Villa Piano quote for you there. Um, I agree. This Mike McDonald led Seahawks team. I said in week one I expected big things from them. Didn't quite deliver against the Broncos, but really showed out against the Patriots last week. So clearly two very poor football teams that they've played. However, the
Yeah,
Dolphins without Tua aren't much better. Um, so I think the Seahawks go to 3-0, raucous home atmosphere. I just think this is an absolute nightmare for the Dolphins. As you say, huge cross country trip. There's nothing in the omens here of watching a lot of NFL football down the years that makes me think the Dolphins will even come close. This could be like 14 or 17 points, this for me. I should have money on this. That line is nowhere near big enough for me. I think
Yeah,
this is a potential calypso collapso for the Dolphins for sure.
for sure.
Watch them win handily now I've said that.
Wow. Yeah.
I went too strong there. I normally like to keep my powder dry, but I was promising the people a
Oh,
two
good. Yeah.
win for
Well,
the.
you're on the Seahawks, so you got to stay on that bandwagon.
I am. They were my preseason pick.
Yeah.
So
Ooh, this is a
they,
fun game.
they weren't my preseason pick. I just liked them preseason. All right, Detroit is a 3-point favorite. I tell you what, the bookmakers would absolutely refuse to quit on this Lions team. The Cardinals,
Yeah.
the Cardinals are like Rodney Dangerfield here. They can't get no respect. Uh,
Yeah.
I'm going to take the Cardinals here as a home dog. I find that slightly insulting, looking at how the Cardinals have played.
I think so.
Brilliant,
Yeah.
brilliant performance from them last week. I think knowing John Gannon well from his time with the Eagles, I think they'll bend and not break on defense. I think they'll make the Lions play a lot of offensive snaps in the red zone,
Yeah.
and probably rebuff them quite a few times. And then they've got the ability on offense to really provide sucker punches to that heavy man coverage Lions defense. I wouldn't want to play a lot of man against this Cardinals team and Kyler Murray. So be interesting to see what the Lions do. But yeah, I'm going to take the Cardinals. Essentially, I think the Cardinals could even win this game. So yeah, I'm taking the Cards.
That's nice. Yeah. I don't have much to add, really. I'm going to agree with you on that. Just look at those passing stats. That is not the formula for the Lions to win there. Goff throwing 3 picks through 2 games, and Kyler Murray being excellent with the ball. Look at that. 4-0. You got to love that. And yeah, I agree with you. It's insulting to the Cardinals, this one. So, take them as the home dog.
Yeah, the Lions, honestly. I saw a lot of preseason picks for them to make it to the NFC Championship game as well. And it just is like they were excellent last season, but it's a tough act to follow that for a young football team to be that
Yeah.
consistently good. Um, so yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Right, Ravens at boys.
Yeah.
I'd imagine the
I
Cowboys.
circled this one earlier.
Yeah,
This one.
yeah, Cowboys home dog. Um, doesn't surprise me because of the
But
because of the performance
this,
last week.
yeah, I mean, this is a Ravens win here. The Ravens aren't going 0-3. There is no universe that the Ravens go 0-3. I'm sorry. So yeah, I felt they should be a favorite here. I mean, the matchups, first of all, just the Ravens O line working against the Cowboys, running it inside the tackles, Derrick Henry. They're just going to keep the ball away from them. Ravens also play excellent special teams, which has been a bit of a culprit to the Cowboys, and certainly last week against the Saints. So yeah, 100% on the Ravens here. I just think they should. I understand why the Cowboys are a home. Well, they're home dog. Yeah, only by
Home
1
dog,
point.
home dog. 1 point. I mean,
Okay.
it's a coin toss
So,
game.
yeah, it should be a 2.5, 3, I think, here in
I
favor of the
agree. I
Ravens.
agree. I agree with you. When I saw it was 1 point, I was shocked. Um,
Yeah.
you look at the margins. This is one to get money on, I think, Tom, because you look at the
Yeah.
margins. Those two
100%.
Ravens. The Ravens lost to the defending two-time world champion Chiefs by a toenail, and then to an unlikely game-winning drive by Gardner Minshew as you'll ever see.
Yeah.
Probably the only one of those kind of drives he'll put together all season, Gardner. Even though I do like him, I just don't see them losing again to the Cowboys, especially. I think they match up quite nicely. I agree. I think they can run Lamar. They can run. They can run the big boy Derrick Henry up the gut. I just think the Cowboys aren't really made for that. They want to get a lead with Dak Prescott, and then harass you with their edge rushers.
Yeah.
I just stylistically, styles make fights, and this isn't a great fight for the Cowboys to be in. So I'm going to say the Ravens here as well.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna have, I'm gonna have
Very good.
pounds British sterling on that as well. I feel
Sure.
that's about it. Um, San Francisco coming up against the Los Angeles Rams.
This
Goodness,
is yeah, this is a big spread here
these
for
these
the
games,
away.
yeah, these games are a nightmare as well because McVay and Shanahan know each other too well.
Yeah.
So McVay has the postseason success, but in the regular season, the Niners just absolutely dominate them.
Mm,
So uh, that's probably why the spread is so large at 6.5 points.
yeah.
Um, but I think Cup and Nakua are out of this game, so you just
Oof.
wonder how the Rams stay close with the
Yeah.
offensive line injuries and without any receivers. I just think Matthew Stafford might take an injury in this game too because he's going to have no one to throw to and he's going to get absolutely battered. Um, it pains me to do it because I respect the Rams offense so much, but they're so depleted that I'm going to take the Niners, especially after that quite gutting defeat for them last week. I think the Niners will show up here in LA. They'll have about 70% Niners fans in the stadium.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take the Niners here in what is virtually a home game for them.
Yeah. Not much more to add there. I do think the injuries.
Oh, sorry. I did go on for a bit there.
No, no, no. I think in yesteryear, if you have a Aaron Donald playing, that it changes the whole dynamic, and you'd be all right taking them as a near touchdown underdog. But
That's a great point.
without
That is
yeah,
the weakness, what is always the weakness of that Niners football team as well, their interior offensive line. Yeah. No, sorry, carry on. There's a great point.
yeah, yeah. So it's I mean yeah, it's a straightforward San Francisco cover here for me, under a touchdown still as well. You got to like that. Good point about it being pretty much a home game for them too.
Oh, both of us snuffling at the same time there, coming down with respective illnesses. We're not a full match fitness here. My goodness,
No, we'd be a DNP for sure on the Friday.
you definitely would. Um, I know
Ooh,
you picked this.
I get to pick them.
Yeah, you.
Yeah, an unlikely win for the Dirty Birds last week. Um, tough place to go. Tough place to go for us on a Monday night. This is a really tough one. I have a feeling it could be a field goal game.
Well,
And
so
we
do the
could be seeing,
bookmakers. So do the
yeah,
bookmakers.
could be a wash actually with this line. But going to take the Chiefs. Going to take the world champions to come back and win another and go 3-0 here. I don't think this Falcons team is going to scare us as much as the Bengals or Ravens, who've played us in some tight games. I think there's going to be more opportunities for us to get the offense rolling actually in this game in the dome. And expect to see a bit more Xavier Worthy sprinkled in, and maybe Kelsey starting to pick up a little bit in here as we get to a prime time game. So I think the Chiefs win this one by a touchdown actually.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Chiefs too. I was just looking at the over under here at 46.5. And I think two football teams where people don't immediately think of their defense, but where I think potentially is the strength of each of these teams at the moment, which is the defensive side of the football. The Falcons keeping quite an explosive Eagles attack to a relatively low number of points, and they smothered the Steelers for most of Week One's encounter. So I
Yeah.
just think they might make life a little tough for Mahomes and the boys here. But I do still think the Chiefs will win by more than three. Although the wash is slightly concerning me as a 3 point line with a walk-off Harrison Butker field goal. But alas, I'm going to take the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Okay, Monday night. Not really a very appetizing Monday night game, to be honest. This is
No.
pretty routine for me. I can't. I mean, let me just see the line because I don't know it. Yeah, I'm not surprised by that.
Well, it's
5.5,
yeah.
big line. But which would normally concern me. But I said to you pre-season, I think I said in week one that I wanted to see it from the Jags to believe it. They've shown me absolutely nothing so far. They've shown me that probably Trevor Lawrence, that contract might have been a bit previous, although I'd like to see him with a different coaching staff in there. So I'm going to have to take the last game that we brought up. It said an alien was coming to Atlanta in Patrick Mahomes. I think Josh Allen is the ultimate NFL alien. Um, absolute, absolute freak of nature. And the Bills are playing really sensible football now. They're running it a lot more, playing good defense. Monday night, Orchard Park. I just think, just give me the Bills here by touchdown.
Yeah, agreement. They last played last Thursday, so a really nice long rest here for the Bills. That's a huge factor for me as well.
Mini buy. Yeah, good point.
We've already seen the favorite cover on Thursday night football. I think that continues throughout these prime time games. We're going to see this week. I think that's a trend to watch out for. Yeah, the book's out for me now. I mean, the Jags could win this game, and I'll be like, oh dear, I got off the train too early. So maybe I'll reserve my right. I'll stay on the train slightly. But I mean, Lawrence there with a touchdown and no picks. It's all just sideline to sideline from the Jags. They really have to start stretching the field out a bit if they're going to win games in this league, and it's just not happening. It's really odd. I thought they'd be better. They're not. So I think this is a tough game for them going up to Orchard Park. I think the Bills handle this comfortably.
Yeah, I think Doug Peterson, as much as I love him for that Eagles Super Bowl win, what we've seen from him since has just basically been pretty non-effective NFL offense, to be honest. When you've got Brian Thomas and Christian Kirk, you both like to run down the field vertically. You'd think they could take more shots, unless they don't think Trevor can hook them up, which is insane because they just gave him mega money. So, yeah, let's see. Okay.
Okay.
So,
there's actually some interesting ones in that little package. Some
I'm really
bigger spreads than I thought.
Actually, I'd say all things considered, looking at the games, that's probably my favorite week's worth of games. And I'm not going to be able to watch them, so that's fun. But I'll stay abreast of the scores and the highlights, I'm sure. But yeah, that's it from us this week, I think, Thomas.
Yep, that's another nice show there. We'll check in next week, see how we've done, see if I can get some ground on you there, Mike.
Absolutely. All right. Ahoy.
Go well.